Hello everyone. Today our topic is understanding knowledge in the age of misinformation. And now let's turn to the first part of the introduction. We often take it for granted that we know things. What's true, what's real, what's worth trusting, but in our world today, this confidence is quietly eroding. Why? Because we are facing not just an information overload, but a crisis of knowledge. This is why I want to take you deeper into the philosophy of knowledge, epistemology, and explore how misinformation, emotion, digital manipulation, and even psychological exhaustion shit we call truth. And now let's turn to the second part. What counts as knowledge and who decides? Classical Western epistemology defines knowledge as justified true belief. But even this seemingly neat formula is riddled with uncertainty. Imagine this. Two people watch the same political event. One comes away feeling inspired, the other feels threatened. Same event, different truth. So, here's the deeper question. Is knowledge objective, or is it shaped by identity, history, and power? Philosopher Michael Foucault warned us that knowledge is not neutral, it's tied to structure of power. Those who control the disclosure also control what counts as truth. In authoritarian regimes, misinformation is not a mistake, it's a strategy. In the age of misinformation, we need to ask not only it is true, but also who benefits if I believe this, whose voice is missing from this story. And now let's turn to the part to the Zhang Jibo.
Okay, let's now turn to my part, misinformation and the emotion evidence gap. Let's now explore something more psychological. We don't absorb information logically, we absorb it emotionally. During the pandemic, we saw that even intelligent people were drawn to conspiracy theories. Why? Because those theories offered certainty, identity, and control in a world that felt chaotic. That is what cognitive scientists call motivated reasoning. We don't believe what is true, we believe what feels safe. So, the real challenge isn't just fact-checking, it's building emotional resilience so we don't fall into the trap of easy answers. Teaching critical thinking must go hand in hand with teaching humility, curiosity, and the ability to live with uncertainty. Okay, now let's turn to the next part.
Now let's talk about the third part. Depending on the culture leans, multiple ways of knowing. Let's take a step back and ask, is Western epistemology the only path to truth? In individualist epistemologies, knowledge is transmitted through storytelling, ceremony, and land-based practice. A forest is not just a collection of carbon and chlorophyll, it's a living library, holding generations of wisdom. In Confucian traditions, knowledge is relational. A wise person is not someone who wins debates, but someone who harmonizes with others and society. In Islamic philosophy, the pursuit of knowledge is a moral obligation, but it must be pursued with depth, as they conduct. So knowing and being good are intertwined. This system shows us that epistemology is culturally embedded. To fight misinformation, we must first recognize the plurality of truth, not in a relativist way where anything goes, but in a respectful way that honors context. Okay, let's turn to the next part to He Weixuan.
So let's talk about the algorithm and the echo chamber. Let's bring this back to the digital age. Social media algorithms are not evil, but they are designed for engagement, not truth. That means they reward confirmation, not correction. They trap us in what scholar Ilya Peresser called it the filter bubble, a world where we only see ideas we already agree with. This isn't just a technological problem, it's an epistemological one. We must ask what habits of attention have we lost? What sources of wisdom are we ignoring? Let's turn to the next part for Baijun Wei.
So, after finishing the above parts, we may face new issues, and we need to go even deeper. So here is the newest issue that we're facing: the AI and the blurring of the truth. So, with the rise of the generative AI, our relationship with truth is entering a new frontier. AI can now write articles, generate realistic images, simulate voices, and even create fake videos. We call it deepfakes. So if machines can simulate truth perfectly, what happens to the meaning of authenticity? In the past, lies took effort. Today, with the tools like ChatGPT, Midjourney, or 11 Labs, disinformation is ultimate and scalable. The line between fiction and reality is no longer visible. It's being rendered. This means we must develop not just information literacy, but AI literacy. In the future, we need to ask 3 questions. They are, is this real or generated? Who made this and why? What data trains this tool? So, when we don't ask those questions, we risk handing over our trust to a machine that has no essay, all in code. So that is all my parts. Let's move on to the next person.
And the next part is the mental cost of knowing epistemic entity. And one more truth, the crisis of knowledge is not only physiological or digital, it's deeply emotional. In an era of non-stop news, infinite growth, and contradictory highlights, many people suffer from what psychologists call epistemic entity, a fear of not knowing enough, of being misinformed, of being wrong. This can lead to paralysis, burnout, or cynicism. If everything is biased, people say, why trust anything? But that cynicism is dangerous. It is the end of curiosity. It's the collapse of critical thinking. What we need is not blind trust, but mirror trust, not rigid certainty, but epistemic confidence, the grounded belief that even in a noisy world, we can still find clarity if we are willing to listen, question, and learn. Thank you. Next part.
Now, let's toward a more ethical epistemology. So, how do we move forward? We must shift from information literacy to epistemic responsibility. This means knowing what we don't know, listening across difference, valuing complexity over convenience, and recognizing that knowledge is not something we own, it's something we share. In closing, in the age of misinformation, the real battle is not between truth and lies, but between depth and shallowness, connection and isolation, humility and arrogance. To know something, truly, is to engage deeply with the evidence, with others, with ourselves. Let us not just be consumers of content, but custodians of wisdom. Thank you for listening.